It's Monday, and you know what that means. Jersey First TV proudly brings to you the latest edition of Real Talk. And certainly, ladies and gentlemen, I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, as voted on by the Latino Spirit online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, and certainly the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media. And ladies and gentlemen, the tribe will tell you, the people's choice and the people's voice. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy holidays. Again, as we're approaching Christmas, hope you all had a wonderful Hanukkah as well. Happy holidays to everybody here tuning in on this, the 18th of December, here in 2023. I want to thank you all for tuning in from wherever and however you may be doing so here on Facebook Live via StreamYard and also on the Jersey First YouTube page. And ladies and gentlemen, again, we appreciate all of your support throughout the year. Thank you for checking us out on all of our social media platforms. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Of course, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to Jersey First TV on YouTube. Again, once you do, you'll be notified of all the great content brought to you by Jersey First every single week. And of course, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify or SoundCloud, download Jersey First. Take it with you. Last minute Christmas shopping, visiting in-laws, visiting boyfriends, girlfriends. For some of my students, maybe, hey, finishing up final exams. Folks, take Jersey First TV with you everywhere and anywhere you go during this holiday season. I can't say enough how proud I am to be on the dream team of Garden State Media. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed Jersey First TV. Folks, I can't say enough. Again, great holiday party last week, obviously featuring noted columnist and pundit Mary Catherine Ham. Again, shout out to the great staff, certainly the administration at Jersey First TV, Rosemary Becky, its president and CEO, of course, all the great staff there and the administration there at Jersey First. Folks, brand new episodes of the Nader Narrative premiere every Thursday, of course, hosted by the outstanding Elizabeth Nader, and also brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap with AJ Malillo and Stephen Rimbolo premiere also on Thursdays. And of course, on Monday nights, you can check out Real Talk with Fernando Uribe. Check your local listings, 4 start times every Monday night. Folks, you definitely want to stick around. I have a lot to say during final thoughts about, obviously, my final thoughts of 2023, this being the last show of the year. I have a lot to say about those in liberal establishment media in New Jersey who still are not a fan of yours truly. And, well, I'll kind of tell you why they're not fans, and I'll tell you the truth about it. But, folks, you definitely want to tune in for that. And, of course, I cannot say enough how thankful I am, ladies and gentlemen, certainly for 2023. You can see it there, 187,935 views for all the shows this year. Folks, without you at home and my outstanding guests, that wouldn't be possible. So, I'm not the most humble guy around, but I'm deeply humbled by your support. Let's keep it going in 2024. I'll talk about that once again in final thoughts a little bit later. But first, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I've been talking to candidates, elected officials all year long. I've also been talking to journalists because guess what? We're the lifeline of information in New Jersey media. And you know what? I'm not the most well-liked journalist out there, and that's okay. I can say the journalist who is well-liked and the guy who I have enormous respect for. Folks, he is my guest this evening. He is the distinguished editor, founder, and publisher of the Jersey City Times. He's the great Aaron Morrill joining us here on Real Talk. Aaron, how are you?
I'm great, Fernando. Great to see you, and happy holidays in advance and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's great to have you here. Folks, again, check him out at jcitytimes.com, right? I always seem to forget.
jcitytimes.com, www.jcitytimes.com.
All right, very good, folks. Check it out for great content there in Jersey City. Aaron, let's real quick here because I really want to get your thoughts about something that came out today as posted by the City of Jersey City's Instagram page. But, we're over 20 months away, but it has not stopped people from really, maybe get into the race here for mayor in 2025. And listen, it's there's 2 declared candidates right now. The 52nd governor of New Jersey, Jim McGreevey, and current county commissioner Bill O'Day. Obviously, we're hearing rumors about other people jumping into the race, but right now, those are the 2 big horses in the race here. How do you see it so far out for 2025?
Well, I see a lot of energy. These guys really want the job, it seems. It's interesting. O'Day is sort of this very authentic, rumpled, sort of everyman, and McGreevey is trying to be sort of an everyman as much as he can. They are coming at the job from 2 different places. McGreevey having been at the pinnacle of New Jersey politics at one point, and now sort of doing doing taking a step down in a sense, but I think trying to rehabilitate to some degree his legacy. Trying to do sort of a Jerry Brown, I think of, Jerry Brown having been the governor of California and then having gone to become the mayor of Oakland, and that sort of rehabilitated him. And I think McGreevy sees this as an opportunity for him to do something similar. But they're very different, having gone to their launch events. McGreevy is smooth. He is eloquent. He is extremely slick, should I say?
Oof, okay.
And O'Day is just an everyman. He gets up there, and you feel like you're talking to a guy you just met at a bar or something. He's not slick. He's the exact opposite. So it's an interesting study in contrast between the two of them. I think they're both serious about policy in different ways. McGreevy seems to be interested in quality of life issues and taxes. O'Day maybe comes at it from a slightly different angle, more sort of lunch pail issues, blue collar. Affordability is his big issue. He's McGreevy. He has made McGreevy out to be a bit of a carpetbagger and not really an authentic Jersey City citizen. It's going to be an interesting race. There's clearly a little bit of friction between the two, as one can imagine, and it'll be interesting to see when they debate. The two, they really are a study in contrast. So I welcome it. It's a nice change.
Aaron, there's been a lot of discussion about the county line, obviously not just in Hudson County, but discussions about that statewide. And I'll ask you about that a little bit later real quick. But are you surprised that former Governor McGreevy was able to win the line in Hudson County, which again, in many instances, if you have the line, your chances of winning increase exponentially. I mean, obviously there's some anomalies. For example, Councilman Solomon has won 2 races in downtown without the line. Again, that's not always the norm. It seems to be sort of the exception to the rule. Were you surprised to see the Hudson County Democratic Organization come out so early for McGreevy?
No, because I had heard on the street that O'Day was seen as a bit of a lone wolf, not really a team player. There was, I'm not really close to the Democratic machine. I don't really have sources that feed me a lot of great information on the HCDO. But my sense is, and what I heard from people was that O'Day was not their favorite. I don't know why that is, but that's what I heard. So when I heard that he had not gotten the backing, I was not surprised. But I can't go any deeper than that as to why the Democratic organization feels that way about him.
To your point, obviously, both guys have a lot of energy. It's way too early in the game to even speculate on running mates at this point. I mean, it's still so much time really out until 2020. I mean, we have a whole 2024. We have a primary race in the congressional district that includes Jersey City, which is going to be really fickle and contentious, I think. We have a presidential election as well. I mean, it seems like, yeah, you're declaring early, but people obviously may not be paying attention since we know 2024 is a very, it's a polarizing election year. Obviously, a Senate seat's up for grabs. All the House seats in New Jersey are up for grabs. The presidency is up for grabs. Do you think that both candidates thus far, the declared ones, Mr. O'Day and Mr. McGreevy, might kind of go under the radar for most of 2024?
Yeah, I think that this discussion is really among, the chattering classes, the political junkies like you and me and people that follow it closely. I see what people are interested in by virtue of Google Analytics, which shows me what people are reading on my website. And I can tell you people are way more interested in the new contactless system where you can get into the PATH train just swiping your iPhone than they are in what O'Day and McGreevy are up to. way more interested. People are interested in things that affect them directly, and they see this is pretty academic at this point. So it is really early. I would also point out on the line issue, we don't know what's going to happen with the line. There are a couple of years between now and the election, and the line is being litigated right now in federal court, and it could go away. And I think a lot of people, good government types, hope it will go away. So we'll see. That'll be an interesting thing to see.
Absolutely, Aaron. To your point about issues that, let's say, are affecting Jersey City residents now, let's get to that. And certainly, the current mayor, the first declared Democrat for governor in the primary, obviously he has company now with former Senate President Steve Sweeney. Today on the City of Jersey City's Instagram page, interesting press conference that was called today. The mayor was in the company of a U.S. attorney, also with the public safety director, Mr. Shea, also was in attendance. I'm going to play just a few seconds of today's video. I want to get your thoughts on that, because I think it's generating the conversation of how's Jersey City been under his leadership, and now he's got a record that he's going to run on for governor. I know you've been critical of the mayor's leadership on several fronts. I know crime has been one of them. Just for our audience, real quick, we'll play a few seconds, and I want to get your thoughts.
Compare the 100 largest cities in the country, which is generally where our comparison is. Jersey City, for the first time, ranks lower than New York from a homicide rate, safer, and amongst the lowest, actually the lowest on the entire East Coast. The data actually shows it's the lowest on east of Texas. So the eastern half of the United States, we have the lowest homicide rate, which really speaks to the progress we've made.
While every homicide and senseless shooting is tragic, these hard-earned reductions in homicide and shootings are the result of the collaboration from those who are up here today and others as well. Together, the Jersey City Police Department, my office, and our other law enforcement partners have gathered intelligence over years that have helped us target those who have caused the violence in the communities here.
The mayor mentioned we have 10 homicides. That's a historic low, which we're happy about, but we're also happy 9 out of the 10 have already been solved.
Aaron, the thoughts on after watching some of the summary of today's press conference?
Well, it's classic Stephen Fulop. He popped the cork early several years ago on homicide, saying that Jersey City had record low homicides, and went to Wall Street Journal and other newspapers with that. And before the end of the year, there were more homicides, and no longer did he have a record low in homicide. So the first thing I'd say is there's still a couple of weeks in the year, and I took a look at homicides, and he's one below the low, which was 11 in 2012. That was under Mayor Healy. So I think it's premature to be talking about records on homicides, although it's a good thing. Homicides are trending down this year. That's a great thing. I don't want to downplay the importance of this, but I do think it's premature to be celebrating the homicide numbers, because we could easily see him equal the number in 2012, and then he'd no longer have a record low in homicides. As to just safety generally, I've looked at this very carefully, and I got in big trouble with the mayor for publishing an article a couple of years ago showing that crime had actually gone up under his administration for the first 6 years, and had done not as well as our neighbor Newark had done, much better bringing down crime than Jersey City had. So the mayor's record on crime is very, very mixed. I'd point out that homicides actually are something that really don't affect many people, as tragic as they are, and they are unbelievably tragic for the people involved and the families involved. The homicides in Jersey City invariably are not between strangers, but between two people that know each other and have been beefing on social media, and are often gang related, and are often young kids that get a hold of guns and are angry at another young kid they know, and they go and do something stupid and shoot them. This is not crime that really affects most Jersey City residents. Not to downplay its seriousness and tragedy for the people involved. What affects people are things like motor vehicle thefts. And I point out that even by the mayor's statistics today, motor vehicle thefts have gone up from 2014 to 2023 by some 50%, it looks like. Aggravated assaults have gone up since 2014 to 2023. I mean, motor vehicle theft is something that really affects people who live in Jersey City. A lot of people. We're talking about not 10 incidents, but we're talking about 629 incidents. So that affects many more people. Aggravated assaults, 789 people were affected by that, as opposed to the 10 that were, the 10 people that died from homicide. So when you're talking about crime that affects a lot of people, homicide is really a very small piece of it. And these other crimes that are up in some cases are a much more important part of the crime picture in Jersey City. So I think it's been a bit of it's been a bit misleading to make homicide the headline for the crime picture in Jersey City. I think we got to wait till the end of the year. We got to take a look at the numbers. And finally, I'd point out, and this is also extremely important, Jersey City is behind by 2 years in getting its crime statistics to the FBI and to the state police. I don't know where these numbers came from. I hope that they're accurate, but Jersey City has been unwilling to publish crime statistics for the last 2 years, has been unwilling to publish its CommStat data for about 4 years. And all of a sudden today, the mayor comes out with crime statistics that nobody else has ever seen or has, and that he's not willing to share with anybody. So I'd also, want to take these statistics with a grain of salt until we know that they are legit. The mayor doesn't have a great record on transparency on crime stats. And as I said, FBI and state police haven't seen these crime stats and haven't seen crime stats for 2 years from this city. So I think the crime picture is not one to celebrate, although it's great that that homicides specifically look like they're going to come in low this year. They may not be a record, but they will be low. That's a great thing.
I mean, interesting. Listen, I'll have the mayor on early on in January. So, I mean, certainly I'll address that with him, and I'll play that clip for him as well and be like, hey, mayor, obviously this is, you're standing on this, obviously, as we get to 2024. And certainly you're one of the leading candidates, obviously, to perhaps win the primary for the Democrat Party in 2025. Aaron, back to Jersey City as a whole, though, obviously, we see that, whether it's the current mayor, the potential mayoral candidates for 2025, I mean, there's still some very pervasive issues in Jersey City. And I know that you have been one of the leading voices in local journalism. I know John Heinis as well with the Hudson County View, along with the Tap Into sites in Hoboken, Jersey City, respectively. There, and certainly your site, the Jersey City Times, has been sort of like out in the forefront about it. And I think it's still the sort of, we talked about it off the air, sort of like the tale of two Jersey cities. I mean, I frequent downtown Jersey City often. I mean, I'm always there. I love venues like the Ashford, Boots and Bones, and others. I really enjoy downtown Jersey City. I don't make it a point to go to other parts of the city because it just doesn't interest me, nor do I feel safe going to them. But in any event, it seems like whether it's opening a Whole Foods, whether it's development in parts of the city on the south side, Greenville, the west side, it seems like regardless of who's mayor now or who's going to be mayor, these issues persist. And I don't see, for a lot of lifelong residents, though, Aaron, I don't see any relief down, as they say, any light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to be a cynic here, but it seems like there's still a lot of pervasive problems that kind of, I don't know, it's multi-layered, I think.
Well, my big critique of the administration has been that it doesn't attend to many of the issues that affect, should we say, working people, regular people in Jersey City. I mean, if you live downtown, you've got a pretty sweet deal. You've got incredible retail, lots of restaurants, and incredible amenities. But for the rest of the city that doesn't have that stuff, you're relying on the city to provide you with services. And when it comes to providing basic services, I don't think Jersey City has done a great job. The streets are incredibly dirty, and that's something actually that Jim McGreevey seems to have made an issue of and is running on, is just some of the quality of life issues in Jersey City are just bad in terms of noise, in terms of trash, in terms of the roads, you name it. The city just doesn't look good. It doesn't look clean. And this has not been a priority of this administration, these quality of life issues. Of course, affordability, we know the story on that. Jersey City is completely unaffordable for people starting out. And I hear stories from a lot of people about people moving to, West Orange and Maplewood, if they can afford a place like Maplewood. Even a place like Maplewood's cheaper than Jersey City, and these are nice suburbs, and you can get double the space in a place like Maplewood than you can in Jersey City. So people are moving out because they can't afford it. On the mayor's, the mayor did push through a zoning overlay, which I think was a really good thing. And I think, we need to be more flexible with zoning. We need to allow for more density that will allow for, cheaper rents, and allowing these little casitas, these little, dadus, they call them, these little houses behind, main houses. That's a good thing. So the mayor, I will actually, say that he did something good. The administration, the city council did something really good there when they passed that zoning overlay to increase density. But the trajectory overall for Jersey City is not good for middle income and lower income people. It's just not. It's gotten so expensive. The rents, the cost of living, and then you have the quality of life issues as well: crime, dirt, noise, schools that are, sometimes good, sometimes not.
Aaron, let me ask you this, because obviously we're seeing what's going to take effect on January 1st across the river with congestion pricing. And I kind of have this growing fear in me that, depending on how that plan goes, that nearby cities, even New Jersey, might want to adopt something like that to alleviate traffic. And that's a concern. We're seeing that what it's going to do to working class people, to your point. For example, in New York, right, in Midtown, obviously anything south of 60th Street, it's going to hit people in the pockets. Could you ever foresee that in Jersey City, downtown, or the Heights, or 440? I mean, do you think we'll ever get to that level? Because it seems like if it's happening across the river, it could easily trickle its way across the river here to New Jersey.
Yeah, I think I've actually had that exact thought, that downtown has become so congested that you could see people advocating for some sort of congestion pricing downtown. I mean, traffic basically is at a gridlock on a Friday night. And often on mornings, you will see Montgomery Street just backed up, from Grove all the way up to Jersey. You're seeing traffic jams, Jersey Avenue, across the bridge from the park, completely backed up, for a mile. So this is new to Jersey City, and I think there will be people that want to do something about the problem of traffic and parking. Parking's a huge problem. It's becoming an issue downtown, the streets, and it doesn't help that the mayor closed off part of Barrow Street recently, so that there's less ability to go across towards the Holland Tunnel. Traffic engineering doesn't seem to be done particularly well in Jersey City, and so you've got backups at certain lights just constantly. It's a big problem. I could see this happening in Jersey City, absolutely.
Aaron, before I let you go, obviously, I appreciate your time. I want to make one suggestion, but I want to let you, obviously, last question here for you. What can we look forward to in 2024 from the Jersey City Times? Maybe, not so much a spoiler, but any possible projects, any potential topics or themes that you really want to focus on in the new year?
Well, I think more of the same. I think we want to find out more about how properties in Jersey City are being assessed. We want to find out if people are paying their fair share, especially some of the larger property holders. There are whispers coming from different places that there have been efforts to keep assessments low for favored property owners and developers. I don't know if that's true or not. I wouldn't make the accusation, but we need to look into this. We have tremendous problems recently with just basic financial management in Jersey City. We just saw a $21 million bond authorized by the city council because the city's financial people had improperly anticipated certain costs related to tax appeals and other expenses. And then before that, earlier in the year, we saw the city needing to borrow $57 million that they claimed was necessary because of COVID expenses, but that's never been explained. There are huge financial management issues in Jersey City that I think need to be looked into.
Aaron, one thing I would love to see with the Jersey City Times, you're a political junkie like I am. I'll tell you, man, wouldn't kill you, dude, in 2024, do a couple podcasts, host Jersey City Times online, and talk to some of these councilmen, women, candidates. Listen, I think you'd be great at it. I mean, you have a presence on screen. You're knowledgeable. You know Jersey City. I'm just telling you, listen, be it far from me to want competition in the area.
I think you're doing a great job. I mean, I appreciate you saying that, but I've always thought I had a face for radio personally. But I like you saying that. That's nice. And
no, man, I listen. I think you've been onto something for some time. I've always had an enormous amount of respect for you in the Jersey City Times. Yeah. I just think you're a great resource. And
well,
bro, if you just
will get you everywhere. Don't worry.
Listen, if you announce tomorrow the Jersey City Times will be doing some podcasts sporadically, people would jump to talk. I'm telling you, I know it. I'm telling you.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that over a beer, Fernando.
Definitely, Aaron. But before I let you go, thank you so much again for joining me tonight. You've always been a gentleman, and best of luck with Jersey City Times in 2024. You're always a great guest. Happy holidays to you and your family.
You too.
Thank you for believing in Real Talk with Jersey First TV.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night, Aaron. Take care.
Good night.
Folks, great stuff here with Aaron Morrill, again, the founder and publisher and editor-in-chief of the Jersey City Times. And listen, a guy who, as I mentioned before, I'm not saying this to bloviate here, but folks, I mean, I have enormous respect for him. Starting up a new site, getting sources, writing. Never mind, again, listen, you look at his insight here on the show, and he's a great speaker. I mean, he's an accomplished attorney, great writer. But folks, when you read his columns, I mean, you can see the depth and the detail in it. It's not just like, and listen, I think you know, folks, how much I go after the liberal establishment media in New Jersey. They can't write a column to save their life. That's not the case. And I understand that there are some at City Hall on Grove Street that don't like what Aaron Morrill does. But I can tell you that, folks, when you look at his columns, they're well-researched, they're well-written, and I think for a guy that lives in Jersey City, they're well-intentioned. Now, having said that, I know that, as I said before, I know the mayor's had, he's taken exception with some of his columns. I know some within the city council have taken exception as well. They have not always been receptive to Mr. Morrill. I would hope that changes in 2024. I would hope that changes going into 2025. I mean, because again, at the end of the day, what we're seeing is this wealth of information, folks. And I say it all the time at a local level, whether it's John Heinis with the Hudson County View, whether it's the Dean of Hudson County Journalism, Al Sullivan, working with Tap Into New Jersey. Okay. And a great job that Steve Lennox does in running Tap Into Hoboken, Tap Into Jersey City, and Tap Into Bayonne, as well as a few other Tap Intos that he does statewide. Obviously, Jeff Henning, along with Julio Reynoso and Hudson County TV. Obviously, you know, the other sort of local sites that do a great job in reporting news. And it's hard, folks. It's hard to, you know, sort of get sources and break a story and sit there hours upon hours. Listen, as someone who's academic and would sit there and write, I get the challenge. I get the struggle. I get the, you know, how exhausting it can be and laborious it can be. I mean, you want to get your facts right. You want to get the data correct. You want to be able to write something that's coherent, that's that's reader friendly. That's not always easy. And I think, and I'll say this, folks, I don't talk to people for the sake of just having guests on, because I talk to people that matter. I talk to people that are relevant. And folks, if you don't think Aaron Morrill and the Jersey Times are relevant, then I hate to break it to you. You're sadly mistaken. Then you're living in this echo chamber, and I feel bad for you, because that's not the case, folks. He's getting good traffic. He's getting engagement. He's getting people to read his stuff. I think that's a testament to, again, his work ethic, and I think also to his dedication to getting information out for Jersey City residents. Folks, Jersey City is a really diverse city, as I say all the time. I mean, obviously, we have the downtown area, which I love to frequent all the time, the Jersey Heights occasionally. Yeah, there are parts I don't really care to go to. They aren't safe. Greenville, the South Side. You couldn't ask me to go there if the hottest chick wanted to meet, for a date or something. That's just not my way. Or 440. Okay. Or Journal Square maybe, or I don't know, wherever the Heights. It depends, folks. Okay. Communipa Avenue, for God's sakes. All right. But it's a city that's rich in culture, rich in diversity. It's rich in multiple ways. Folks, to Aaron's point earlier, I mean, it's about addressing the whole city. And I think that's probably the underlying theme going into 2025 with the upcoming mayoral race. And again, we know where Stephen Phillips stands on his legacy and his platform. He has to answer for that, obviously, during this primary process, as he now has company and former State Senate President Steve Sweeney. Obviously, we're hearing whispers about maybe U.S. Representatives Mikey Sherrill and Josh Gottheimer, maybe Mayor Ross Baraka. Who knows? Who knows who's going to jump into this race for the Democrat Party coming up for 2025 for the gubernatorial race, after what I would argue is 8 years of one of the biggest disasters in New Jersey's history, and the Emperor, Phil Murphy. We'll see where Stephen Phillips stands. I look forward to talking to him in a few weeks in January when he comes on the show. I believe that, folks, mark on your calendar, Monday night, January the 15th at 7:05 p.m., mayor and gubernatorial candidate Stephen Phillips will join us. But again, great job, as I said earlier, by Aaron Morrill and the good stuff that he does with the Jersey Times. Again, folks, if you don't read his content, what are you waiting for? Go to jcitytimes.com. Go to jcitytimes.com. Make sure you follow. Obviously, make sure you like him on Facebook, and of course, follow him on Instagram, and I also believe on X, right? Twitter, X, I don't know, whatever you want to call it now. But check him out. Great columns, informative, not just with him, but folks, but the contributors to the Jersey City Times also put out great work as well. And look forward to seeing what he'll come up with for columns and analysis in the new year. And again, listen, I'm just trying to be it far from me to want the competition or people in the pool. You know what I'm saying? But folks, if anyone really should be starting a podcast in Jersey City and really delving into candidates and platforms and policies, I'll tell you, I'm almost certain that Aaron Morrill would do a good job. So I hope he considers that in 2024 and also going into 2025. Folks, 7:35 here on the East Coast. Before we call it a night, you know what time it is. Of course, it's time for final thoughts. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off by saying the following. And I am someone that, as you're all well aware, I am not the most humble person around. Certainly not. But I got to tell you, I am deeply humbled by this number. Now, again, this isn't counting December yet, folks. Again, we haven't seen the data yet. Obviously, we've got some great episodes and traffic for the first two episodes of December. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you that for the prior 11 months in 2023, you'll be happy to learn that 187,935 views has been the bread and butter. It's been the workload here at Real Talk via Jersey First TV. And let me just start off by saying this. Okay. Last Wednesday, I had the privilege of going to the Jersey First holiday party, great location in Fairfield, New Jersey. Got to see my boss, president, and CEO, Rosemary Becky, obviously going to great lengths to create an enormous party. Great turnout. Obviously, you can check out jerseyfirst.org. Check out their Instagram. Check out their Facebook. You can check out the album. Amazing speakers, certainly led by their featured speaker, Mary Catherine Ham. I know you've seen her start off in the Fox News with the O'Reilly Factor, has worked her way into CNN, popular podcaster and a political pundit. Great to talk to Mary Catherine and obviously exchange information with her. Looking forward to having her on in 2024, hopefully. But a great turnout there. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to walk in with the hottest chick in the world there. Shout out to Allison Lynn there for accompanying me last week. All eyes were on us. Well, let's be honest. All eyes were on her, not so much me. I mean, even though I clean up pretty well, all eyes were on her. But in any event, it was a great, great time at Jersey First. And I cannot say enough how grateful I am to Rosemary Becky, along with Executive Director Ashley Smith, for their belief in my abilities. When I started Real Talk in June of 2020, it was really at the height of the pandemic, after the passing of my grandmother. I mean, folks, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a mess. I was not my best shape. Mentally, I was sad. I was upset like anybody else. I'm that Cuban boy attached to his abuela. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was me. And, to be starting Real Talk really at the height of the pandemic, I didn't know what to expect. And I'm grateful again to Jordan Komowitz and John Emmons IV with Eyes on NJ News for giving me that start. And subsequently, transitioning out of there and starting with Jersey First in January of 2022. And since then, folks, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to just put the rocket pack, and I have not it's taken off. And I have not looked back. And I am so grateful to them for their support. I'm grateful to Rosemary Becky once again for her belief in my abilities, for giving me freedom, for allowing me to be creative and giving me a lot of creative control that a lot of people may not get in other news sites. But I've worked hard to reward her faith in my abilities. And folks, again, the numbers don't lie. And while, there are those in the establishment media that will say they don't watch the show, but we all know they do. Folks, it's hard to argue the success of Jersey First. I mean, again, it's all because of you at home, family, friends, colleagues, frenemies, haters, and members of the establishment media who, for whatever reason, will tell you that they don't watch me. But folks, they really do. And the reason that people watch this show is because they've lost faith in the establishment media here in New Jersey. And we all know what we're talking about, folks. Yes, the useless 8 in New Jersey. And I don't mind chirping because you know what, folks? When you have traffic like mine, I can talk a little bit. So you know what? If I want to have a little tea and gloat, I'm going to effing do it because I can. And I do it because, folks, the reason this show is successful, bottom line, let's shave the apple down to the core, is because what you get on this program, what you get with this content is something educational every Monday night, something informative and entertaining. Can you say the same about the useless 8? Definitely not. And let me just go one by one here because I think it merits. Because again, while Politico, Insider NJ, NJ.com, the New Jersey Monitor, NorthJersey.com, the Bergen Record, okay, while they go out of their way to be, let's be honest, to be propagandists, because they're not journalists, folks. They're propagandists. And it's rich when I have to hear anyone from the useless 8 call me a propagandist when all I do is come on this show every single week, and I don't lie to you. I tell you the facts. Again, the useless 8, you're entitled to your opinion. What you're not entitled to are your own facts or what you think are facts. But the facts are is that this show is successful. The facts are that this show is respected by clearly hundreds of thousands of people because of the views. Okay. I don't sit there at home browsing Twitter/X looking to pick on people I don't like Matt Freeman, for example. And let me just give you a little quick backstory here. When I like to schedule guests for the program, what I do is obviously look at my calendar from the entire year, right? And a shout out to Dustin Rasiopi, the editor-in-chief of Politico New Jersey. Great guy, great coverage. Don't have a bad word to say about Dustin Rasiopi. But when I reach out to people, right, and I say, hey, had a great time when you were on the show previously, and I'd love to have you back on. One thing is to say, oh, I think I'll pass. Thanks. Well, I don't know about you folks, but when I see an email like that, for example, it prompts me to reply back and say, oh, I'm just curious. Any particular reason? Now, of course, like a lot of white people that are very passive aggressive, right? Dustin is no different than many other white people in that way. Because then once I opened the door, he decided to walk through it. And of course, he got a little salty and fickle because I dare to pick on his golden child, Maddie Friedman. Okay. But what Dustin won't tell you, or Dustin refuses to acknowledge, or what Dustin is in denial of, is he took exception to our episode in April when I decided to criticize Maddie. Now, let me just say this about Maddie Friedman. Now, I get it. It's like he's your boy, he's your child, Dustin. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I get it. He feels like a son, and you're looking after your children. But Dustin, what you have to realize, I think you're a dad. At some point, when you realize your children are being trash, you have to kind of own up to it and own it. You seem incapable of that when it comes to Matt Friedman, a guy who loves to pick on conservatives on his Twitter feed, but never once, not once, will he pick on any liberal, much less any colleagues in the establishment media in New Jersey. And there's plenty to pick on. Okay. And I can name you plenty of instances. Or thinking he's cute, dredging up photos with people that maybe got into legal trouble or anything like that. I think it's rich for a guy to sit at home in upstate New York, who probably gets up every morning at 11 a.m. because he's, from smoking weed all day the day before, right? Wakes up with the only pussy in the house that, let's be honest, folks, that wants to be near him. One of his 12 cats, 12 dogs, who knows? Okay. But for a guy like Matt Friedman to go out of his way on social media, on Twitter, to pick up if he just doesn't like, for example, Josh Aikens or other organizations that say that stand up for parental rights, that stand up for kids, that stand up for parents. I get it, Matt. You start your day at 11 in the morning. Okay. Maybe you have to wake up smoking that bong, like John and Ted in the movie. Who knows? I get it. You wake up with the only pussy in the house that wants to be near you because God knows. Can you blame his wife for maybe want to work at the bookstore all day? I would too if I had to come home to an insufferable prick like Matt Friedman, right? Okay, but folks, have a little awareness, Matty. A guy like you that goes on television multiple times, whether it's MSNBC and all 9 people that watch it, right? Because I know you blew a load in your pants about obviously the Menendez indictments, and I get it. You were salivating at that, and all I can say to those people that salivate about the Menendez indictments is, hey, due process. Let's wait for the process to play itself out. And I get it. You came all over yourself on the Rachel Maddow show, obviously, with all 9 people watching, right? Look presentable on TV. To the fact that Dustin Rasiopi will get salty about me making fun of Matt Freeman's appearance when all Matt Freeman does on social media is make fun of other people or pick on people is rich, Dustin. It's rich of you to get salty and fickle about someone making fun of Matt Friedman. He represents Politico, Dustin. Would it kill Matt to not look like someone who just left a methadone clinic? Would it kill Matt to shave and comb his hair and look presentable? He's representing Politico, Dustin. Don't you think you should talk to your kid and be like, hey, you're representing Politico. Look presentable. You're an adult, right? But of course, Dustin would rather be salty, think that, you're making fun of Matt's appearance. No, I'm making fun of the fact that Matt likes to pick on people. He likes to punch, but he doesn't like people punching back. And to say nothing of the fact, Dustin, again, get your facts right, that when I made fun of Matt Friedman in that episode, forget the appearance. The bigger story is that neither Matt Friedman and neither anyone else on the Useless Eight took Rutgers University or Montclair State University to task for still having vaccine mandates. He'll worry about pronouns and, oh my God, is recreational weed available or what, other nonsense that he fixates on. That's what I went after Matt Friedman about and the rest of the Useless Eight. So get your facts right. All right. Now, again, do I need Dustin Rest to be on the show? No, of course not. The traffic will tell you I'm doing just fine. But again, Dustin, be a little honest with yourself. As I said, my parents have not always agreed with everything I do. I'm sure my parents have had to sit me down when I'm being an a-hole. Do me a favor. Have that moment with your child, because every parent does. At some point in time, a parent realizes their kid is being a trash human. Have your moment and sit Matt Friedman down as well. Well, of course, other journalists or propaganda, let's be honest, throughout the entire year. Terrence McDonald, who, again, as 2024 is around the corner, I'm sure he's, counting the days until Pride Month because that's all he really cares about. And, of course, bitching and moaning about how bad he has it in New Jersey as a gay man. You don't have it bad at all, Terrence, and your bitching and moaning doesn't go unnoticed, but it's also disingenuous. Okay? Or Uncle Dave, David Cruz. Mejor dicho, ¿sabes qué voy a hacer? Voy a hablar de David Cruz en español. Porque yo sé que como él no habla español, como él es tan latino y tan boricua, right? Bueno, yo voy a hablar español porque él entiende español. Newsflash, folks. Everything I just said went right over Uncle Dave's head because he doesn't know Spanish. But he has the audacity to host something during Hispanic Heritage Month when he doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. I think that's rich. Okay? Or to get a little, not defensive, about even insinuating that what I do and what he does are not the same thing. Mira, Dave, para que tú sepas, yo soy un periodista. Tú también eres un periodista. Okay? I'm a journalist, Dave. You're a journalist. The only difference is that when I do segments and I host people, my shows are actually interesting. My shows are actually informative. I'm not asking charisma vacuums to come on my show like you do regularly with Reporters Roundtable. Okay? To say nothing of the fact that I look infinitely better on TV than even when you were my age. So, let's start with that premise too. But I don't want to go for the low-hanging fruit. Let me go with the real core of the premise. You put people to sleep, Dave. Okay? Yes, you've paid your dues. You worked in Hudson County. Were you better than Al Sullivan? Of course not. Nobody in their right mind will ever say that. Okay? He's the dean of Hudson County journalism, not you. I would argue. Okay? But to even insinuate that what you and I are doing are not the same, you're just being intellectually dishonest. Tú eres un descarado y un sinvergüenza to even say that when we both know that I get legitimate traffic. Again, I haven't seen what your traffic is. I don't care for it. But folks, I don't put people to sleep on my show like David Cruz does. Have a little more awareness, Dave. Oye, despiértate y esté un poquito más alerta, okay? So again, folks, if someone could just maybe download Google Translate on Uncle Dave's phone, he can maybe hear the audio and download it and understand, because obviously he doesn't understand to begin with. Or Charles Style. Chucky's a guy who, folks, if anyone exemplifies Trump derangement syndrome in New Jersey media, it's Chucky. Now, again, his head might explode in 2024 when the presidential race gets underway. But we'll see. But again, when it comes to Trump derangement syndrome, you can always rely on Chucky from NorthJersey.com. Speaking of Trump derangement syndrome, folks, Tommy Boy from NJ.com. And this is what's funny. The audacity of NJ.com to send me emails and thousands of other people begging you, please give us $1. Please, por favor, give me $1 to subscribe to our content. Folks, I wouldn't waste a nickel of my data on my smartphone, on my iPad, on my MacBook to even read anything from NJ.com, much less Tom Moran. But he'll tell you he's somehow still relevant when we all know he's not. And yes, he can get very sanctimonious and he can try to advocate for the people. This is the same guy that advocates for Chris Christie, who spent 8 years like vilifying Chris Christie. And all of a sudden you're a Chris Christie fan. another clown in New Jersey media with Trump derangement syndrome. Speaking of Trump derangement syndrome, another clown, Alan Steinberg. Yes, and it is 7:50, so I know it's way past his bedtime. I'm sure he'll watch the replay because I know he does watch the replay because I've seen the receipts. I've seen the notifications. Okay? He'll tell you otherwise if he can remember, right? And again, by the way, I know that some people brought to my attention that Alan Steinberg celebrated a birthday recently. I think he went to Lincoln Center to watch, like, I don't know, like his 37th opera this year, right? So, feliz cumpleaños to Alan Steinberg. Happy 97th birthday. I would say you look great for 97, but you really don't. But folks, when it comes to Trump derangement syndrome, you can always rely on Alan Steinberg. He's become very good at it. And so is everybody else at Insider NJ. Whether it's little JJ, whether he's bitching and moaning about weed, or about the sob story about, oh, you know, it's 30 years of living with HIV. No one cares. I don't care. Many other people don't. The only difference, Jay, is that I have the balls to say it on the show. I have the reproductive organs to say it out loud and say it to you. See, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And for Jay last year to get as invasive or as whatever he wants to get with people and take jabs at people. See, Jay, this is the thing. I can take jabs, but I can give them. The only difference is that more people will listen to me when I'm throwing jabs at you than people listen to you. That's the difference. Or Max Pizarro, who another one at Insider NJ, who, I mean, if he leaves his house more than 3 times a year to do actual physical work, I don't know. That's a miracle. But folks, we've all seen what the establishment media has become in New Jersey. They become full-blown propagandists. Okay? So whether they're begging you for money to, hey, subscribe to their content, or somehow solicit advertising from organizations like the NJEA or Planned Parenthood, right? Like Insider NJ, where their general manager, again, folks, is the chair of a local Democratic municipal committee. Again, can someone please explain to me how no one else has called him out? Because that's what Peter O'Neill is. He is the living embodiment of a conflict of interest. I'm the only one with the integrity. You know, integrity. It's a 4-syllable word, guys. I know that everyone behind me, they struggle with that word, integrity. It's a big word for all of you. But you would think that a news site never mind, folks, we talk about they're powerless. If that's not the most gratuitous whoring out for advertising dollars you've ever seen, then I don't know what is. But folks, the reason that many New Jerseyans have lost faith in the aforementioned news sites and have lost faith in these clowns is because of just being blatantly dishonest. And the reason that this show continues to do well, folks, again, the numbers don't lie. 187,935 views from January to November. Never mind the fact of what's coming in December. Folks, we might literally crack 200,000 views for 2023. And the reason we're going to do that most likely is because you believe in this show, because you believe in me, because you know that when you tune in every week, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to placate you. I'm going to talk about issues that matter, not pronouns, not fixating on whether or not every cabinet position is filled by a lesbian, whether or not, you know, trans people need to be recognized more in New Jersey. No one cares about that stuff, least of all me. Regular people like myself, homeowners, taxpayers, care about issues that matter to everyday New Jerseyans. Okay? And this is why this is why Jersey First continues to do well, because we talk about the issues that matter to you. Not nonsensical woke stuff that David Cruz, that Matt Friedman, that Terrence McDonald, that Max Pizarro, that Tom Moran, that Charles Stile, that Jay Lasseter, that Alan Steinberg, and a plethora of other propagandists fixate on. In a political climate, folks, where people are struggling to pay for their groceries, where people are taking out a second, even third job to pay their rent, to provide for their kids for Christmas, to maybe take a trip during the Christmas season, maybe go out for New Year's, maybe plan for a vacation next year. These are the issues that matter. You think any of the clowns I just mentioned before are concerned about? Of course not. Of course not. They're more concerned about smoking weed or whatever pussy's in the house that can actually stand to be near them. You know, cats, right? Take your mind out of the gutter, folks. Okay? Or grandstanding or bloviating about indictments. Guys, do better in 2024 because you certainly didn't in 2023. Do better. New Jerseyans deserve it. We rely on the establishment media to try to give us information that, hey, should try to perhaps help us make more informed decisions. If anything, you're not doing your job. But you want to know who's doing his job? Fernando Uribe. They did it in 2023. And folks, I'll make sure to continue doing it in 2024. Can't thank you enough for the success of this show. I'll continue working hard for all of you in the new year. And that's our show for this week. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, that's a show for this year. It's our final broadcast of 2023. I'm taking a well-deserved Christmas break. I'll be relaxing. I've deserved it, folks. Hey, you work this hard, you get this traffic, you deserve a little rest and relaxation. But folks, in the meantime, make sure you check us out on all our great social media. Make sure you like us on Facebook, of course. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to Jersey First on YouTube. And, of course, wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify or SoundCloud, download Jersey First and take it with you throughout the holiday season, whether you're traveling by car, by plane, whatever, visiting family, shopping. Hey, whatever it is you're doing, folks, check out Jersey First TV. I know you all are. I can't say enough how proud I am to be on the dream team of Garden State Media, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's Jersey First TV. Brand new episodes of the Nader Narrative premiere every Thursday, hosted by the amazing Elizabeth Nader. And brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap with AJ Malillo and Seymour Rimbolo also premiere on Thursdays. And, of course, brand new episodes premiere every Monday night right here with Real Talk with Fernando Uribe via Jersey First TV. Special programming again, folks. Merry Christmas in advance to all of you. I'll be off until the new year. Real Talk returns on Tuesday night, January the 2nd, 2024 at 7:05 Eastern Time. And what a better way to start the year than with the editor of the New Jersey Globe, David Wildstein, a regular on this program. And again, I can't say enough how grateful I am to David for his belief in this program and for always wanting to be a contributor. I'm really thankful to him and the great staff at the New Jersey Globe doing what I would argue is the best job at journalism anywhere in the state of New Jersey. Again, if you don't check them out, check out njglobe.com. Sorry, NewJerseyGlobe.com, excuse me. So I want to make sure I get it right. And great reporting all the time, not just from David Wildstein, obviously Joey Fox, and all the great staff there at the New Jersey Globe. So we'll start the new year with David Wildstein, folks. Once again, special programming. Tuesday night, January the 2nd at 7:05 Eastern Time, be the first edition of Real Talk in 2024. Folks, we're going to have a lot to talk about in the new year. Folks, it's a presidential election year. Senate seat up for grabs. House seats up for grabs. A lot to talk about. We'll be doing that here on Jersey First TV. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always Real Talk with Jersey First TV. I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, via the Latino Spirit Online magazine. Also, via the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, along with being the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media. And certainly, ladies and gentlemen, the traffic will tell you the people's choice and the people's voice. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Have a happy new year. Be safe. Please party responsibly. And we'll see you in 2024 here on Jersey First TV for the latest edition of Real Talk with Fernando Uribe. Enjoy yourselves, folks. Once again, please party responsibly. And thanks for stopping by.